We are live on Proline TV for some more thoroughbred horse racing coverage. And yes, we're on Friday, a little day late, but as we have often said before, sometimes we'll have to reschedule, and that's what we did this week. That means that at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to have our live preview of two races. We have got the grade 1 race at Saratoga and the grade 1, actually it's a grade 2 at Del Mar. I believe it's grade 2. The grade 1 at Saratoga is the Sword Dancer, and the grade 2 at Del Mar is the Yellow Ribbon. So that's coming up tonight, 7 o'clock. Of course, that's for members only. So you know how cheap it is. It's just $2 for two shows per 4 weeks, $4 for 4 shows. So bottom line is it's $1 per show. And all you have to do is click the join button and do the rest. Okay. You can see here, we've got the Arlington Million. This is what we're going to talk about today. And this thanks to one of our, I believe one of our members suggested this. And, you know, it was interesting. I have this list of grade 1 races, trying to see who let me see who it is that I go to. Pop it up here. And you wouldn't believe how many different things I have. Look at everything I have here. Where is my horse racing? Right here. So I use DRF. And they don't have this race, or at least they didn't have it when I was doing it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see this there when I was putting this together myself. Now I did it a couple of weeks ago, so maybe sometimes they add it on. But yeah, this was not on there a couple of weeks ago. So I did not update it. And therefore, all of a sudden, boom, one of our members said, hey, what about the Arlington Million? And they even have 2 other good races, the grade 2 Secretariat and the grade 2 Beverly D. But anyway, that gave us an opportunity to do it here. Now, no Jeff this week. And I do want to inform everybody, because I think you've known by now, we talked about this with John a few times already before. I have no idea how long John is going to keep working in the industry. He's been doing it a long time. I'm sure he wants to enjoy the rest of his life. He deserves it. Whether or not he stays on with us, like part-time, to just stay in the mix, I have no idea. He might just say, I'm done with all of it. It could be in a couple of months. It could be in a couple of years. I have to prepare for whenever that day is. And I will tell you that whenever that day is, that I will do my best to continue. And I will continue by using all sorts of different creative strategies that I haven't really utilized before, because I'm not the man. John's the man. So if I have to do this by myself, then I have to be the man, unless I find somebody else, and that's possible. But I'm not even going to go down that road at this point. So I already know what one of those things will be, and you guys will like it. Trust me. And I will get a good following on YouTube, even if it's just me. But I'm not going to tell you what that is. So here's one thing, though, that I'm going to do today that we haven't done before that I think is valuable. Again, this is similar to what I would do, kind of similar to what I would do. And I'm always trying to come up with other really cool ways of getting the information out, since I am not the expert. So in these situations, it's like, hey, what can I do to feed you guys while you're putting your money on these races, the best information possible. So even if I say, hey, this is what I'm picking, you might just go, well, okay, well, good luck, Greg, but I got all the information I need. Thank you for providing it. I've got my own picks, and I am totally cool with that, as long as you enjoy and feel the information I provide for you is valuable. Okay, that's the thing for me on this particular show. Now, if this was a football show, that would be completely different, and I would have a completely different point of view on how anything that I say goes, in a way. Like, hey, I'll take it. I'll take the wins. I'll take the losses, because I am the expert, not here on the horse racing show. Okay, so what we're going to do here, and I can't do this at the same time because I have to use my second monitor for this. So what we'll do is we're going to go through each horse. Actually, we're going to go through the 3 pages on the daily racing form. And I just thought of this, by the way, very little while ago. And so I really don't know how this is going to go. I want you guys to let me know in the comments section. Let me know if you like it this way or not, or what other ideas that you have. But what we're going to do is take a look at my notes on the daily racing form. Okay? Because I print these out. All right. So here's the first 2. All right. So there we go. These are my notes. So what I do here is these are the notes, by the way, I use for the show. So while we're going through the show, this is what I have in front of me. This is all of my research, all the shows, information, just on these forms right here. And then when we do the show and I'm talking with John, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my forms. That's all I'm doing. And then we're talking. So this is what I look at. And I usually put over here the horses that I like. And then I'll pare it down to whatever my wager is going to be. All right. So we'll start with Mystic Dan. Okay. So as you can see here, I think it's obvious. And by the way, these are the sheet numbers right here. Okay. These are the numbers. And here I usually put them right here if they're on the same surface. And I get tricked sometimes like that because I was like, wait a second, Mystic Dan's never been on turf before. I was just figuring he had, or whatever reason, because all of these races were on the same surface, and that's why it really should be here. That's just for me. This means it's a different surface. These are the surface numbers I put in for the sheets. All right, so no turf. That's huge. Kentucky Derby, we know that was a big win, but even look at the numbers. Yeah, 10-9, Arkansas Derby, 3rd, 10-9, 10-10s. These are nice. But ever since the Preakness, which was a runner-up, another good one, he tries to go for a 3rd straight Triple Crown race, and look what happens to him. 16, and he doesn't recover until May. Not only does he recover in May in this regular race, this regular stakes race, finishing 2nd as a pretty top choice, not the top choice, but all of a sudden, he's in a nice little run here. Best 3 races of his career. 6, 8, and 6. But he's never been on turf before. All right. So in my mind, the thing that is, what are the odds going to be? And at getting close to 5-1, I think that's pretty good value for Mystic Dan. With these numbers, those odds, I believe it's good value. Okay. All right. Next, Time Song. One of the long shots. And here's big issue here. All these are Lasix races. He raced here without it, which is good. He finished 2nd and he ran a similar number. So I then at that point, myself, I'm like, I'm not worried about it then. Now he makes the trainer change, downgrade a little bit, but yet this particular trainer has Time Song going 13, 12, 12 in the right direction. And yes, they're pairs. So as a long shot, okay, I'll keep an eye on Time Song as a possibility. But I like another long shot in here, which is the reason why Time Song didn't make my list. But again, this is the whole idea. What I'm trying to say is I have no problem just feeding you guys the information. You make up what you want to make up. And for me, well, so will I. Okay, next. All right, let's see. By the way, the reason I keep going up and down and doing it is because it's the opposite. For whatever reason, on the second monitor, whichever way you go is the opposite of which way you normally would go. So I'm trying to go like down, but you have to go up. And up is down. So that's why I keep getting screwed up. All right. Vesting. All right. So again, we got a trainer change. And that's not good from Chad Brown, even to Michael Maker, but not a big deal, especially just like the other trainer change. This is fine. Matter of fact, you see here, he's going really in the right direction, never going backwards. Okay. But then all of a sudden, this year happens, and it's kind of, it's not good start, much better, then back again, trainer change. And for the first time in his career, he's got his two best races back to back, 12th and 11th, 12 and 11. All right. And he has been at least, and it's only twice that he's with the Maker. And you're getting 12 to 1. Now, here's the problem, though. All of this Lasix, and we don't have one of those good races, even just from the long shot that we had here. Right here, the 12. And that's a 30 to 1 shot. Okay. So again, I think it's interesting. I think there's good things to like here, and maybe you guys like something and see something I don't. Here we go. Runaway Storm. A nice number. Look at that. Double check mark. That's what that means. If I check there, that means I like the horse a lot. I double checked him because he's a long shot. All right. So what did I say here? Oh, yeah. If we look at it here, let's see. He raced in July and ran a 9. That was his best race. And by the way, things were going really good here. Look at that. 14s, 12s, 10, 9. Everything's going good here. Excellent here, matter of fact. Wins this race as a 20 to 1 long shot. That's a grade 3 race. That's what really did it for me. Is because sometimes you can look at even the numbers, the sheet numbers, and be like, yeah, but he hasn't been in these races with these big time other horses who have been in these other big races, and that's got to be a negative. And that is true. But hey, he won a grade 3 race, and he did it with what, a 10? Comes back with a 9, loses by a head, or he was the morning line. He went from 20 to 1 to the favorite at the gate, and just lost it. But then something happened. Because he goes 9 months off after the 9. And it wasn't the 9 because he just ran a 10 and he had 12s. But here, after the break, the good news is, okay, he runs a 14, finishes in 6. And by the way, that's with a Lasix. That didn't go very well. But he comes back about 6 weeks later, goes right back in the right direction we want to see, finishes a strong second, and does it without Lasix. Okay. And this trainer is off to a nice start. Okay. And as I said here, he's never had a bad race. Look at that. 8 races, 14 is the worst race he's ever had. He's raced at Colonial before. He did it here in another grade 3 race, finished in the money as a 34 to 1 long shot. So look at that. He's been a 20 to 1 long shot or more 3 times in his career. And he has finished 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Not bad. That's why I double checked him, because he's 20 to 1. Not because I think he's the best horse in the field, but hey, man, I'm getting 20 to 1 on this horse. All right. Now, Cairo. Fitting name for the horse, the 5, because he's been really all over the place except the U.S. See? First race, USA, I believe you got no value. You're almost at 3 to 1, even though Curtis is off to having a nice meet. No value here. We do have numbers, which is nice. Good numbers, too, especially in this field, and that's why he's almost 3 to 1. 8s, 10s, that's all good stuff, but never in the U.S. And here's another thing. Look at that. You don't need the sheets for that. He's got 3 wins in 21 races at 3-1, and he's never raced in the States. He's never raced, of course, at this track. He's never won at this distance. And I'm going to put money down on a 3 or 4-1 shot? No, not me. Not me. But you might see those numbers yourself, or you just might see something. You might see something in Curtis and say, hey, these imports, they're better than you think, which a lot of times they are. But not for me. And then we wrap up with the last 3. All right, let's see. There we go. Fort Washington, the 6 is the horse to beat. And getting 4-1 is not bad. I'm glad that there's a couple of horses in this field with those low numbers, including the one we just spoke about. Why on earth would I go with the 5 when I could go with the 6? Why? Look at this. Look, I got a 4. What the hell am I doing with an import that's won 3 times in 21 races? All right. Now, you might say, well, look at Fort Washington. He's got 6 wins in 27 races. But here's the thing with Fort Washington. Okay, this is the note I have here. This is the start of his run. He was a 35-1 long shot. You know why I remember this? This is going to be the last race because this is going to come off the board next time as the 10th of 10. This is the race that Chad Summers picked on this show, June of last year, as his top pick in the race. And it was an awesome win. And then all of a sudden, he became a different horse. 7s. Now, look, I shouldn't say all of a sudden because he had a couple of hiccups here, as you can see. But since November, the worst he has are 10s, and he's got 7s and 4s. What in the world would I be doing taking the 5 over the 6? Me, at least. Now, look, he's got 3 grade 3 wins, but this is a grade 1 race. I'm okay with that, though, because a lot of horses in this field do not have grade 1 wins. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure anyone in this race has a grade 1 win. So I'm not really too concerned about that. Yeah, I think the grade 2 win coming up. So I definitely feel Fort Washington should and deserves to be the favorite of the race. And at 4-1, I think that's fine. Problem is, are we getting 4-1? Okay. Now, Grand Sonata. I also like this horse because I'm getting 8-1. I've got Pletcher. I've got Gaffleone. I've got a grade 2 win. And I've got good numbers. I got good numbers here last year. And I've got good numbers here with the exception of when he has to come off the turf, so that you don't even just forget that race. That doesn't count. He has the one bad race here in Keeneland. Other than that, 2 good races at Gulfstream Park, comes back with a good race at Monmouth. Now, I don't like the fact that he hasn't won since the grade 2 win when he ran an 8, and it was Kentucky Downs. And as John has taught me and some of you, Kentucky Downs is different. I also don't like this. That's not good. I don't like that because, again, what is this? This is a 1.25 mile race, and he's never raced at Colonial Downs. But I am getting 8-1. I'm fine with this horse at 8-1. I don't want him any less than that. And then the last horse in the field being Integration. Now, this is the favorite of the race. And this horse nearly won this race last year, finishing second, as short as a price as you're going to get without being the favorite. Okay? Ran an 11 in that race. Now, what has he done since then? Nothing wrong. Matter of fact, look at all this. All this is excellent. And he even ran a 4 in January in a grade 1 race, finishing second by a neck to a good horse, that Spirit of St. Louis horse. That's a good horse. Remember I said there's no grade 1 winners here? Well, that's true. But this is a grade 2 winner, and he's raced in 4 straight grade 1 races, finishing second 3 times. So we can see why this horse is the favorite of the race. And he's got 3 wins at Colonial. That really tops it off. So I don't think, see, to me, I think the clear 2 best horses in the race are going to be the 8 and the 6. Okay, so how do we make money then? All right, well, we're going to make money in my mind. Let's pop this off. By taking a look at some of the other long shots. And I think there are some decent long shots here. Okay. We talked about Mystic Dan, who's not much of a long shot, but he's 5-1. Here's the problem with taking Mystic Dan is that you can't take the 3 of them. I guess you can. You got to put a lot of money to make money. But you probably would want to do is see, at least there are 4 horses in this field that do have low enough odds. So it's not like there's going to be a horse that is going to go off at an incredibly low price. Okay, because they're all kind of going to keep each other in check. That's the good part. The difficult part is figuring out which 2, if 2 of the favorites get into first and second, which 2 they're going to be. That's going to be the trick. And I think that I'm willing to take the 5 out of the equation and say it's going to be between the 1, the 6, and the 8. But if I want to make money, which I always do, then I'm going to look at the 4 with my little 2 check marks, the 20-1 shot, Runaway Storm. I'm going to look at the 7, Grand Sonata, the 8-1 shot, and I'm even going to maybe keep an eye on Time Song. But the only thing with Time Song is that even if I compare him to these others, like the other 20-1 shot, well, actually, Time Storm's a 30-1 shot. See, Runaway Storm at least has a single digit, 10, 11. Time Song doesn't have anything except the 2 12s, but they are pairs. And maybe he comes out there and has his best race, but it could be 11. It could be a 10. And I don't think that's going to get it done in this race. So I'll stick with the 4 as the top long shot. And I'm also going to put in Grand Sonata because I got Pletcher. They got a grade 2 win. He does have a 6 this year and is rebounding with the latest 9. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm gonna go with some sort of again. I would probably do it where we have. Let's see, man. I'm thinking, man. I really want to take Mystic Dan over Fort Washington only because of the fact that I think I'm going to get. I mean, we are at this point getting better value slightly, but Mystic Dan's 2 years younger. Has won a Derby and just won a grade 3 a couple starts ago. You know, like I said, the last 3, the best 3. And Fort Washington is getting up there a little bit. He's 6. And his last 3 races have been with 2 10s. Whereas the last 3 races for Mystic are 2 6s. And I know he hasn't raced on turf before. But that's why it all comes down to what the odds are going to be. So if I'm getting Mystic Dan, right now, Mystic Dan, I believe, is the 4th or 5th choice. So in that respect, I'm willing to take the chance with Mystic Dan and the 8 integration. So I would go 1-8, and I would try to put in the 7 and the 4 and the 7, Runaway Storm and Grand Sonata. So why don't we do that? Why don't we do? I mean, I'm going to say the 8's going to win. He's overdue for a win. He's just. Yeah, I'll do the 8 over the 1, the 4, and the 7. 8. Yeah, which is actually, remember, I had those 5 numbers up there. The only number that I didn't take in the final pick was the 6 because I can't take them all. Okay, so there you go. And that is maybe a little bit of an example of how I would be doing things if I was on my own and John retired and left me all to myself, which I hope does not happen for quite a long time. So don't forget, we're going to be on the air, members only. So sign up, hit the join button. And if you don't like it for whatever reason, you're with us for a month there and you do not like what you see, and then just don't come back. It's a $4 investment. It's a $2 investment. It's not a lot. So, and all you gotta do is hit one. You hit one race in a month with us. One race. Well, actually, you gotta. Yeah, actually, that's pretty much the way it would be, depending on how much it is. But let's just put it this way: we hit this week, it's already paid for, and now you just gotta make sure those next 3 weeks we hit it at least one out of the next three. Then, okay. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tonight at 7:00. Some of you guys tonight at 7:00 Eastern for our big show with John Hardoon as we take a look at a grade 1 from Saratoga and a grade 2 from Del Mar. And best of luck, everybody else. If we don't see you there, I'll see you next week right here to preview another